Ladies and gentlemen, what if the person you've been searching for isn't somewhere out in the world? What if that stronger, wiser, more confident version of yourself has been inside you all along, waiting for one decision, one courageous moment, one choice to finally come alive? Think about that. How many times have you looked in the mirror and wished you could start over? How many times have you believed that you were too late, too broken, too tired, or too far behind? What if none of those thoughts were true? What if your greatest chapter has not been written yet? The most beautiful thing about life is that every sunrise arrives with the same message. Begin again. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how many times you've fallen, today offers you another opportunity to rebuild yourself, not into someone else, but into the person you were always meant to become. Ladies and gentlemen, many people spend years trying to repair their circumstances while ignoring the one thing that creates every circumstance their own mindset. They want a better career without becoming more disciplined. They want healthier relationships without becoming more loving. They want confidence without facing fear. They want peace while feeding anxiety. Life doesn't work that way. The outer world always reflects the inner world. If you want a different life, begin by becoming a different person. That is where every transformation starts. Imagine a house that has been damaged by a powerful storm. You could paint the walls, replace the furniture, decorate every room. But if the foundation is cracked, none of those changes will last. Many people try to improve their lives by decorating the surface while ignoring the foundation. Your beliefs are the foundation. Your habits are the foundation. Your thoughts are the foundation. Rebuild those first. Everything else will begin to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, rebuilding yourself is not about pretending the past never happened. It is about refusing to let the past continue controlling your future. Every mistake carries a lesson. Every disappointment carries wisdom. Every failure carries experience. The question is not whether you have fallen. The question is whether you are willing to rise again. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet are those who have been broken. Not because pain made them stronger by itself, but because they chose growth instead of bitterness. They chose purpose instead of self-pity. They chose hope instead of giving up. That choice changed everything. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment when you must stop blaming your circumstances. Not because your pain wasn't real, not because others never hurt you, but because your future cannot begin until responsibility does. Responsibility is not punishment. It is power. The moment you say, my future is in my hands, you stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop waiting for permission. You begin creating the life you deserve. That is freedom. The world changes when your thinking changes. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with heavy stones. Each stone represents guilt, regret, fear, resentment, self-doubt. Every step becomes exhausting. Now imagine placing those stones on the ground. The road hasn't changed, but you have. That is what letting go feels like. Sometimes rebuilding yourself is not about adding something new. Sometimes it is about releasing what no longer belongs. Ladies and gentlemen, every day you are building something. With every thought, every habit, every decision, you are either constructing the future you desire or reinforcing the life you wish to escape. Nothing stays still. Growth is a choice, so choose wisely. Wake up each morning with intention. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become today? Not next year, not someday. Today, because your future self is created by today's actions. Confidence is not built in one extraordinary moment. It is built through ordinary promises you keep to yourself. Every workout completed, every book finished, every excuse resisted, every act of kindness, every difficult conversation handled with honesty. These small victories quietly transform your identity. Ladies and gentlemen, stop comparing your journey with someone else's. Comparison steals your peace. It convinces you that you are behind. But life is not a race. It is a personal journey of growth. A flower does not compete with another flower. It simply blooms when its season arrives. Trust your season. Trust your pace. Trust your progress. There will be days when rebuilding feels slow. Days when nothing seems to change. Keep going. Great buildings are not completed in one afternoon. Strong character is not built in 1 week. Lasting transformation requires patience. Be patient with yourself. You are learning. You are growing. You are becoming. Ladies and gentlemen, your inner voice matters. Speak to yourself with the same compassion you would offer someone you deeply love. Stop repeating the lies that say you are not enough. Replace them with truth. You are capable. You are resilient. You are worthy of growth. You are stronger than your fears. Your words become your beliefs. Your beliefs become your actions. Your actions become your life. Choose your words carefully. Every morning is a new opportunity to rewrite the story you tell yourself. Do not let yesterday's failures become today's identity. You are not your mistakes. You are the person deciding what to do after them. Ladies and gentlemen, there is incredible power in quiet consistency. The world often celebrates dramatic success, but greatness is usually built in silence. It is built when no one is watching. It is built in discipline, in patience, in integrity, in showing up even when motivation disappears. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. Discipline is what carries you across the finish line when emotions change. If you build discipline, success eventually follows. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the life you dream about is not waiting for more talent. Perhaps it is waiting for a stronger version of you, a version who no longer quits easily, who no longer seeks constant approval, who no longer fears failure, who understands that every setback is simply another lesson. That version of you already exists. You simply have to build the habits that allow it to emerge. Imagine looking back 1 year from today. Imagine seeing a person who is healthier, calmer, more confident, more grateful, more disciplined, more peaceful. That future begins with one decision made today, not tomorrow, not next Monday. Today, the bridge between who you are and who you can become is built one step at a time. Take that step, then another. Do not worry about perfection. Progress is enough. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is one message I hope remains with you long after today, it is this: you have the power to rebuild yourself. Not because life will suddenly become easy, but because you are stronger than you realize. Your past is a chapter, not the whole story. Your failures are lessons, not your identity. Your fears are visitors, not permanent residents. Every sunrise invites you to begin again. Every challenge invites you to grow. Every setback invites you to become wiser. So rebuild your thoughts, rebuild your habits, rebuild your confidence, rebuild your purpose, rebuild your peace. And little by little, day after day, you will discover that you were never broken beyond repair. You were simply being prepared to become someone greater than you ever imagined. Remember this: the strongest buildings are rebuilt on stronger foundations. Do the same with your life. Start today. Believe in yourself. Keep moving forward. And never forget that the greatest project you will ever work on is becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you.